So we're going to make a gatefold card this time, only focusing on the front with backgrounds, and we're going to use a different lady. This young lady's called Dreamy Elegance, but we're not going to use her. We're going to use this one, which is the Fashion Victim, just to show you that you can mix and match these in the different card layouts. So we're going to start by creating an inky background. I'm going to take the largest of the blending mats, and we're going to use 3 of the pens from the set 2 of the watercolour blending brush pens. We're using the very dark sort of crimson one, we're using the lightest pink, and we're going to use a brown as well. So I'm going to actually do it one at a time. This is the crimson. Scribble some on, give it a mist with some water, and then using the edge of my card I'm going to break up that ink so that it's not a scribble, because if you just dip into the scribble, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the scribble, and of course it does give you a nice edge as well. Oh, sorry for hitting the camera. So that's the crimson. Just tidy that all up. So the best thing to do is to leave them to dry separately, or you can heat set them. If you put them all on at once, you'll just get a merge of the colours, and you won't actually get any distinction of the colours. That's virtually dry anyway, and I'm using the Bockingford card for this, from the Pink Ink ladies. Then we're going to go with the go for the really light pink. Doesn't really matter which order you do it in, matters not one jot. A little bit of that on there, and this one will be very subtle, but if it wasn't there you'd miss it. Again, mix that ink up rather than just having the scribbled lines, and add some of that in. And if you will find, because remember they're watercolours, and you will find that it will re-wet the colours that were there before, and you'll get new colours going on, but you will get some depth of adding the lighter pink in. So that's the second one. Remember, it's a background, don't panic, because you can select which areas you're going to use. And for this card I did have one A4 sheet, and then an A6 sheet for my flowers. I got some of my flowers out of the A4 and then the rest out of the A6. This is your brown. Give that a little bit of a... Unlike me, just make sure that it's a bit drier in between. I don't really want to put the heat gun on unless I have to, because I know it's quite noisy. Again, get it moving. Sometimes, I mean, with this one I've got my image already coloured in, so my background's going to match my image, but sometimes you do your background first and then you colour in your image to match your background. That's where we're at so far. Quite like that. I'm quite happy with that, different colours. So that is going to set aside to dry now. Obviously this you can, the ideal thing is if you mop it up onto that second piece, that A6 piece that you're using, so you're not wasting any of it. That to one side. So I've actually cut mine an oval out of mine. See, that's how mine dried, and I've cut the next size oval out of the almond hue card, and I've edged with a bit of the diamond dazzle. So that's going to go on the front of my gatefold, and then on the inside of my gatefold I've got a bigger piece, and then I've got one of the life quotes from last time, with Phil's label die, so that's on the inside. And for my gatefold I've got an A4 piece of card which I've just trimmed to 8 inches in depth, and just folded on the A4 gatefold folds on my scoreboard, so it'll open out, and that's going to sit on the front, but not yet. So what we're going to do is make ourselves a decorative panel. So this is a piece of almond hue card, and I'm dusting this with my anti-static bag, because I'm going to be stamping and embossing. And I'm going to grab the, where have I put it? it is. You can see I've been using this already. This is the lovely lacework background, and I'm actually going to stamp it. In fact, so I don't make a mess, I'm going to put that on the piece of paper. I'm going to stamp it using the Purple Delight Versifying Clay, and then I'm going to emboss with the Soft Rose, I think it's called, the Twinkling embossing powder. I won't say that because mine hasn't got a label on it, so I think that's what it's called. So give this a good old inking. This is an A6 rubber stamp, and we're going to extend this. Don't panic about extending it. We can hide any mistakes. Now we do the first one. I'm going to do this twice. There we go. Doesn't look like I've stamped it straight, but that's just me. Doesn't matter. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? It isn't straight, it doesn't matter though. Right, okay, so on my block I've marked in a little bit of pen where I think the edge of my stamp is, because you can see the rubber goes beyond my edge, and that's going to help me hopefully line it up. Just need to ink up the top. Remember, Versifying Clay stays open for a reasonable amount of time, so we're going to be able to add our embossing powder on top. Now remember, I haven't stamped this straight, which makes my life a little bit harder, and I'm looking at where I've stamped and where my line is. And if it doesn't work, it's fine, because we can put flowers over it. It's not a problem at all. Not bad at all. Not brilliant down there though. I think I didn't ink it far enough. Let's move that out of the way and that out of the way, and let's add our embossing powder. This is one of the Twinkling embossing powders. This is the Soft Rose, and having the coloured ink underneath will give you a different finish altogether. At the moment it just looks like it's the rose colour. You can't really see the ink, but the ink comes out as you heat it. Let's put my embossing powder away. So I've gone ahead and I've heat set my panel now, and you can see it's really darkened up, and you wouldn't believe that that's actually the rose embossing powder on there. And I've inked around the edges with Pick Raspberry Distress Oxide, and that little bit that I missed in the corner has been covered up by the oxide, so you can't really tell. And I've done another panel and glued that onto the front of my card, so we just add this one as well. And it is done and out of the way. See if I can get those lined up. Although it's quite quick grab glue, you have got some time to give it a wiggle if you need to. And I'm going to now just pop that underneath my board so that it flattens and sticks nicely. Right, let's go to our lady now, because we haven't, or our young lady, we haven't stamped her yet. So I'm using the Stamp Perfect, and just to say that again that this lady is from the Fashion Victim set. And I've got a Bockingford card on my just here, and we're using Nocturne Versifying Clay, which is the black one. I mean, obviously this stamp is a DL stamp. It's going to fit onto the DL block that is available on the show, but for me, I just like knowing that I can stamp again if I want to. Give it a good old press. There she is. She's just lovely, isn't she? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so I'm going to one that I've already stamped, just so that it's dry, and do a little tiny bit of colour in. I'm going to some of the colours that we used before. I'm actually going to go with the darker pink just on her top first, and just drawing over the lines that Trudie's put in there for us to shade. Not being specific. I mean, I did say to Trudie when she drew these, oh my word, that's, you know, they're going to be hard to colour. And she said, no, actually they're not. Because they've got this sketchy style, it does mean that your colouring can be pretty sketchy too, which is really good for me. Especially for speed as well. So you don't have to be specific. She's obviously very, very trendy. She's got a little bit of a tummy showing, a little bit of a belly button there. I do like these stamps. They're just so cool. And Trudie just does a fantastic job with her designs. So let's pull in my very mucky blending mat, because I've just been using this one all of the time. And going to go with some of the light pink. I know I've got light pink on there already. If it's dry, you can add more ink to it. It's absolutely safe to do so. But if it's wet, don't do it. Don't add it in another spot. I mean, obviously, once I've finished doing all this and I've got no more space left, then I can just spritz it and make myself a background with it. Then using the really light pink, I'm just going to go in and sort of pull some of the colour around. Right, let's put a little bit of that one down. Is that the darker one? No, that's the darker one. A little bit down there as well. That will pull that out. So pull that. So by going in with a pink, a lighter pink, and moving the darker pink with it, then you get kind of a blend going on. I don't know, there's lots of different ways on how to use these pens. We'll all use them differently. I don't think there's a wrong or a right. If you're happy with the result, then just go with using them that way. See, it's been quite quick. Bockingford card as well is very forgiving, so if you want to go back in once it's dry and change it or move colour around, you absolutely can. If you go outside the lines, and I mean these are so sketchy that you can safely go outside the lines and it won't matter. You can just once it's dry, take a clean brush and just paint over the bit where you've gone out. So like there, I've gone over. So I can now blend that out either with my finger or with a piece of kitchen roll, and that'll be hidden. I'm not going to do any more on this one because I've got one coloured in already, but you get the idea of how I coloured this particular one in. So this is one that I've coloured in already. And these are the colours, the brown, the dark red and the lighter pink that I used in my background. So everything's going to marry up and fit in nicely. I'm just putting the wrong top on the wrong thing there. Right, okay. You don't need to know that. So, where's my card gone? Oh yeah, underneath here. Organised as ever. Right, so I've got some double-sided tape just on one side of my oval. And I'm going to put some, obviously I peel the back off. I'm going to put some glue on as well because we're going on to glitter card effectively here. And, you know, you don't want the front of your card to drop off. So we're just going to put that kind of there, I think. Let's just check that we're going to open correctly. Yeah, we are. We haven't got any tape showing there. And then this young lady, who I forgot to put tape on, so bear with me a minute. She's going to be in the centre, strutting her stuff. I need a little bit on her head. Yeah, okay. Fortunately, these are quite easy to take the backs off. So she can start. She's not going to fit perfectly, but I'm happy with that because then there's movement. I'm happy with her travelling outside of my background oval. She's lovely, isn't she? Then we're going to go with the flowers. So for my flowers, don't worry, I've done them all already. I just wanted to show you how I made them. So we're using the Romantic flower and die set. This is your stamp set, and and I've only used 6 of the flowers, and on some spare background I've just stamped them with the Purple Delight VersaFine Clair and embossed with the soft rose. And to shape these, I'm going to use Phil's tweezers. Well, they're my tweezers, but they're Sentimentally Yours tweezers. And I'm just going to use the pointy ones and pop it in the centre like that and fold the petals up around the tweezers. Like so. These inky backgrounds make fantastic backgrounds for your flowers. And I've got 2 of each size, 2 of each of 6 sizes that I'm using. Fold round there and a fold round there, and then we're going to pop some glue in the centre there, and then use a ball tool in the centre to make it adhere and pop up. And then I'm just going to grab pearl. This is one of Phil's pearls. It's called Fuchsia Pink, which I believe probably last year he brought it to the channel. There won't be any on there at the moment, but it's a nice pink pearl. Can't put the top of the pearls on the glue, Julia. Losing the will to live here. Right, let's grab an 8mm one. I think one of those can go in the centre and look really lovely. Okay. So let's now add our flowers and our leaves to our card. I've also got a sentiment to add on here as well. Let's add the sentiment first. So again, from the same stamp set that the young lady's in. So in the Fashion Victim set, we've got Just Be Fabulous. So I'm going to add that at the bottom. I've just trimmed it just with my trimmer, and edged it with picked raspberry distress oxide. And let's put a little bit of glue on my craft sheet as well to make it quicker for my flowers. Just Be Fabulous. The sentiments are really cool. Let's see if I can line that up, kind of bring it over about there-ish. I think that's straightish. Everything's an ish. And the leaves I'm using on this one are the Lush leaves. These have got a lovely deboss detail. These are on the show, so let's add a little bit of glue from there. And we've got a right and a left. See if I can get them around the right way. Let's have that one there, and this one just hanging down here. I'll probably go in and add a little bit more glue underneath when I've finished. And then some of the flowers I've actually doubled up. So I've added little flowers in the centre. Really quite pretty. So the big one's going right in the centre here. Oh, and my leaves are falling off. Got enough glue on there. Put that in there like that. And let's have some more glue. I'm going to do it manually, I think. I can't do it Phil's way. Everybody has their own ways, don't they? I have my way, he has his way. And we're both wrong or right, whichever. Okay, so let's see. We want this big one just down here, I think. So this is the second size flower. And then we'll have this one just tucking in down there. And that's going to secure my leaves a little bit more. And then we'll have that one just up there. So I'll probably titivate that with the glue a little bit more. Oh, my leaves have moved. There we go. So there we go. There's 2 different versions of the same card. Slightly different colourways because I've used Wilted Violet around this one. Same but different. There you go.